Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Sunday Night Live with me, Jonny Lipsham, here at Jonny Lipsham Studios in Edinburgh, in Scotland. Not for much longer. I'll tell you all about that in just a moment. But, needless to say, hello, welcome, I'm back. I'm sorry that there was no show last week. I was not very well at all. I spent the entire weekend flat on my back in bed. Which was very relaxing, but not really what I wanted to be doing. But anyway, I am feeling considerably better, which is good, and I'm back here with you guys, so that's cool. So welcome, and we've got about 18 people here, which is awesome. So welcome, everybody. And it's basically just going to be a Q&A tonight, because I am only just back, really. I'm back on my feet after not doing very much for practically a week. I have been at work, but I basically set up on a laptop in bed. So basically I could just stay in bed for the whole week and work through what I have to do at Personas for my job there. So yeah, that's kind of my week. It's not been great, but I'm here. And I'm very glad to be feeling well enough to do a show. So, but yeah, I don't have a whole lot of energy, so it might just be a short one tonight. But I wanted to do a show because I don't like to have to cancel, because I've been doing these now for 4 years or so, and it's always good doing these shows. I love you guys. I love the questions that you ask. You stretch me, you challenge me, and hopefully I help you learn more about Studio One and about Personas products in general, and mixing and mastering and songwriting and all of that other stuff. So, and I love talking about that stuff. So I'm going to keep doing the show for the very just, forever, hopefully. I intend to it. Hang on just a minute. I've just smacked my mixer and messed up everything that was going on there. There we go. I think I got it back now. Okay, so you were listening to a nice little reggae groove, and you're probably thinking, reggae, Jonny Lipsham, reggae? No. Jonny Lipsham is a jazz guy. Yes, you are right, I am a jazz guy. But just recently, if you're a Personasphere member, one of the things that was dropped into your subscription, into sphere.personas.com, was a bunch of reggae stuff, which is cool. Super duper cool. And what's it called? It's called Pride of Kingston. And it's got a whole bunch of very, very cool loops in there that you can use to make some pretty cool reggae tunes. There's organs, there's a horn section, there's some really nice reggae drum grooves, and some guitar stuff. And that was basically just a little sample of what you can do with it. The piano part was me, and the Fender Rose part was me. But the guitars and the bass and the drums is all from the Pride of Kingston loop pack that you can get if you're a member of Personasphere. It is right there in your account waiting for you already. But otherwise, you can purchase it from the shop for very reasonable chunk of change. So if you're into reggae and that kind of thing, then go and get it. I believe there are some impact kits as well to go with it. But yeah, it's essentially just a reggae pack. There's some nice one-shot snares and different kit parts that you could map into a kit in your favorite drum program, like I don't know, Easy Drummer or something like that, or whatever you like to use. If you like to use Impact, as I say, I think there are some kits already there, but you can also use the ones that are in the one-shot folder in loops to populate Impact and create your own bespoke drum kits out of all of these one shots, and you can just like make reggae to your heart's content. Are you having a custom built room for your studio done in a new place? No, I am not. Mostly because it is a brand new build. Yeah, brand new building. It's a brand new house. It is being built as we speak. It is about 85% finished, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about the house and everything else in just a few minutes. But no kind of brand new room being built inside of nothing like a bespoke studio built inside. Perhaps later down the line, but certainly not to start with, because as I say, it's a brand new house, and a brand new built house needs time to settle. As you live in it, things like the house shrinks a tiny bit and settles down in the foundations a little bit more as you're living in the house. So yeah, there won't be anything like that going on, at least for the first 12 months, maybe longer. But I will be set up in one of the bedrooms in the new house, which is going to be very, very cool. It's going to be reasonably similar to this kind of sized room, except the window that is there won't be there. The window that I have over there at the moment will be a wall, and instead the window will be there, where you are. So, where the camera is, basically the other side of the camera. Which is kind of how it was back in the old place before we moved here. I had a window to look out of. The screen's in the way, but yes, ultimately I had a window to look out of. And I will have that again, which is going to be very, very nice. I'm looking forward to that. But yes, it's a brand spanking new house that hasn't been built yet. It's kind of 85% there. But it's going to be very, very cool. And I'm really, really looking forward to moving in. And I guess once the house is kind of settled down and all of that, then maybe I might do something a little bit, more bespoke to do with the studio. Certainly at some point, there is the possibility that we could convert the garage into a room inside a room. Would have to look at the dimensions of the garage. I don't think it's very wide. It is very long. It's about 25 feet long, but width-wise, I don't think it's much more than about 8 feet. So when you kind of build in another wall inside, it's going to make it really, really narrow, possibly too narrow to fit the desk in and all of that. So building out the garage might not be an option. But we'll have to wait and see once we get settled in the house. Those are ideas that are definitely up for grabs, but otherwise, no, nothing kind of bespoke. But one thing I will be doing, certainly to start with, I'll be using the acoustic treatment that I've already got just now, which is kind of essentially basic foam that's just designed just to basically tame the room a bit. It doesn't do a whole lot. And when I put it up, it was never really meant to do a whole lot other than just control what's already present and dial down some of the frequencies that I don't want invading the room and deal with some of the standing waves and comb filtering and that kind of thing that's present in this room. But yeah, once the house is settled and everything, so after a few months, then I'll be able to put up some really nice thick, 5-6 inch thick broadband acoustic panels, which I'm probably going to get from a company called GIK Acoustics. They're not cheap. They're actually pretty expensive. But the cool thing is you can plug into their website the dimensions of the room and exactly where everything is. And then their room calculation stuff will go to work under the hood. And then they'll send me back exact positions where to put the panels and that kind of thing. So that's going to be very, very cool. So yeah. So at the moment I have a room kit that cost me about £150. So not very expensive, not massively high quality, but in my previous room it worked really well, and in this room it works pretty well. So it's actually done quite well for me the last sort of 8, 9, 10 years. 12, 13 years that I've actually been using a dedicated room for a studio in any house that I've lived in. So yeah, so I'm kind of looking forward to that being in the new house, and it being a house that we own means that we can do whatever we want with it, rather than renting a place where you can't really put up, those kind of thick broadband panels, because you have to kind of drill into the wall to make those happen, because they're quite heavy. Whereas these are really light. You just hang them up with a couple of pins and that's it. And obviously, in a rental, it makes sense to put light acoustic treatment up, even though it's not maybe acoustically going to do the best job. It will do a job. It will absorb some frequencies. It might not absorb everything. It might not deal with the low mids particularly, but it certainly deals with the highs that do bounce around in a room like this one. And the bass traps in the corners definitely deal with the low end and have got the low end very much under control. That is something that has really worked out really well in here. So yeah, Bob Stu says, be careful of fire resistance. Absolutely. Pretty much acoustic panels that are built and sold in the UK have to, by law, they have to be built to legal specifications for fire resistance. They have to be utterly fire resistant. That's the law in the UK. So that's kind of that. Yeah, so it works out well. And I'm really looking forward to moving. Just Bob asks, are you city, suburb, or out in the country with space between you and your neighbors? At the moment, we are kind of in the green belt of the city, so, you know, it does not take you very long before you are very much in the countryside. But it's also not that far away from the beach either. So you've got Arthur's Seat and the Pentland Hills, not very far away from here. And you've also got the beach at Portobello, not very far from here either. So they're about, 10, 15 minutes or so drive in either direction, and you get to, good hill walking land and the beach as well. So Edinburgh is unique in that respect, in that it's a coastal city that is surrounded by extinct volcanoes and, beautiful hills created by the last ice age. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. But the new place is it's in a town called, well, it's actually just a little bit outside of a small town called Gorbridge, which is in Midlothian. So it is a little further southeast of Edinburgh. So we're a little bit further away from the city. So we will be, already we are about 20 minutes from the city centre, where we are now, and we will be a further 20 minutes from here, going further southeast. So yeah, we are definitely outside of Edinburgh and into the countryside, the surrounding countryside. As I say, just kind of a little bit outside of a small little town called Gorbridge, and it's a nice brand new housing development. There's a whole bunch of houses on this development, and it's going to be great. We've met some of the folks that live there already, and some folks that have also just moved in. We go to the estate regularly, basically to go and see how the build is going. So we've talked to a few of the people that have just moved in, as well as some people that have been there for a couple of years, because the development has been in progress for the last couple of years. So they are kind of coming towards the end of the first phase of development, and then there'll be a phase 2 after that. And then once phase 2 is complete and everything is built, that'll be that. It will, the developers will move out, and then it will just become just a regular housing development. It's going to be great. But yeah, one of the things I can show you, I know I'm kind of a little bit house orientated at the moment, and not house in the musical sense, but it's kind of the thing that is uppermost in my mind. One of the things I can do is I can show you a picture of what, it's not exactly what our house is going to look like, but it is the same type of house that is being built, and it's in the same configuration, so I can definitely show you that. Let me just bring up that picture. That's not the one I wanted to show you. Hang on just a second. Let me go to that folder. I'll get that one out as well. Oh no, that is the one. Okay, so where's the other one then? Uh-oh. Hang on. Let me close that picture down. Let's go to pictures. Oh, interesting. What's going on here? Aha, here we go. Is that the right way round though? This is the thing. They make this house type, and there are different orientations. It's one way or it's the reverse of that way round. So hang on a second. Burlap Studios. Burlap, I've not seen you in yonks, mate. I'm so glad you're here. But you just said that you're moving, that you have to scoot. Well, I'm glad that you were here for a little while. But yeah, we should hook up, my friend. And I've not even said hello to anybody yet. I'll get to who's here in just a minute. Do I do much acoustic recording? Yeah, I do. It's mostly what I do, actually. When I'm not mixing, and mixing is probably about 85% of the work that I do studio-wise, and then the rest of it is acoustic recording, which is done in here. So, you know, I'll have solo artists or I have duos in here because I can fit two people behind me, no problem. So yeah, so I do those kind of things. But yeah, most of the work that I do for my studio is mixing and mastering work. But yeah, my day job is Presonus, and the rest of my time is spent mixing and mastering, but occasionally I'll take some recording work as well, and that's acoustic work for the most part. Right, okay, let's show you this picture. Let's go over here. Okay, so here it is. It's kind of superimposed on top of Studio One at the moment, but I think you get the idea. And I can zoom into that and make it a little bit bigger. But that is a mock-up of what our new house will look like when it is finished. Except for these solar panels will be on the other side of the roof. That is one thing we have definitely been told. But the solar panels are not extra. They are actually included in the price of the house, which is nice. It's got a nice integrated garage. And the lounge is down here. And then this is the master bedroom. And then this will be one of the kids' bedroom, and the studio will be opposite this room here at the back, overlooking the back garden. And it's going to be really, really cool. I'm looking forward to moving in. We probably won't have hanging baskets or plant pots, and I'll tell you why. They don't live. Because we get them and then we forget to water them. So they probably won't survive. But yeah. That's kind of how the house is likely to look. Maybe a slightly different stain of brick, maybe a slightly darker stain of brick. But yeah, it's going to look a little bit like that, and I can show you what it looks like now as well. Hang on just a second. Let's go grab this one, and let's zoom this one in a little bit. There we go. So this is where it was at when I was at the development last week. So this is going to be a road, and then there's going to be a road going up there. This house here is recently finished, and I think our house is this one here, where I'm pointing my mouse at the moment. If you can see that. We reckon that's our house there. It's a little hard to tell because of, you know, the amount of scaffolding and all of that that's up. But we reckon it's either this one or it's the one at the very end. We know that it's opposite this road, so it's probably going to be one of those two there. And it, as I say, it's about 85% built. Yep, all brick. It is a complete brick house, and it's designed to keep the house warm in the winter and cool in the summer. So that you don't need kind of like to use a whole lot of heating, and we don't have air conditioning. You don't need it here. But yeah, so that was how it looks. And this is like going to be a little footpath at the side of the road, and then this will be the main road down to the end here. And you see this block here, that's where the road will go this way, and then there's going to be another road at the bottom there. But yeah, that's how it kind of looks at the moment. So really excited. And that's my daughter, Lee Pritchard, is here. Hello, Lee. How are you, darling? I'm glad you're at my show. So yeah, it's really exciting, and we're greatly looking forward to moving into something that's going to look a bit like this. Yeah, very exciting. So there we go. Let's close that up because you don't want to see any of that. And we'll go back over here. So yeah, so there's a phase of moving people in to the estate. As I say, some of the estate has been occupied. People have been living in it for a couple of years. And that section of the estate looks really, really, really nice. The rest of it's a bit of a building site. But eventually it won't be an issue. Martin, that's funny. Yes, everybody, please welcome my daughter Lee to the show. Lee lives down in Weymouth, at the very south end of the UK. So we are quite some considerable distance apart, which is a bit of a shame. But hopefully we'll get to meet up once all lockdown is all over and that, because it would be lovely if we could do that. So yeah, there we go. Right, I better get on with the show, really, because it's taken up half the show already. But it's my show. I get to talk about what I want to on my show. So Thomas is here, Bob Studios is here, Kay Johnson is here, but retracted his first message. K-Bone is here. I don't know if that's the same person. Might be. Kevin's Guitar Stories is here. And you guys were talking away. Burlap came in. Music's Motion is here. And Just Bob, one of my moderators, is here. Bill Shepherd. Garan down in Australia is here. I have family, relatives in Australia. They are just outside of... Actually, some of them are just outside of Sydney, and some of them are in the suburbs of Melbourne. And they have been here. They've been to Scotland because they are actually from Scotland. And so we've seen them a couple of times, but we've not seen them in maybe 3 or 4 years. So it'd be really nice to be able to go down to Australia and see them and maybe catch a test match whilst we're there. Let's see. James Giannoni is here as well. I actually got your name right this time, James. Paul Lucas is here. He says, glad you're on the mend. Yeah, I am, slowly but surely. It's not been very nice. I have had quite the tummy upset, and it lasted for days. Turned out to be food poisoning, which I gave to me. It was me. I did it to me. It should be made law that I am not allowed to enter a kitchen for that reason. And then Peter Brooks is here as well. Where can I find some good basic tutorials for EQ, limiting, compressing? Just the basics. Well, actually, I'm glad you asked, because I have some videos on that right here on this channel. I have a mixing tips series, which kind of goes into the basics of things there. I've done some videos on EQ. I've done some videos on compression. You can also go to my website. Little drum roll for my website, www.jonnylipshamstudios.co.uk. It's kind of down there at the bottom, underneath me. And if you go there, if you've not signed up to my website, click the red button that's on the homepage. And when you do that, you will, if you fill out all your details, you will subscribe to the website, and you'll get a much more in-depth compression course absolutely for free. I made it 2 years ago, and it's actually pretty good. It's one of it's pretty good. It's one of the best series that I've made on a specific topic. So yeah, you can go and grab that. for absolutely free. All you need to do is just enter your details and sign up, and then you'll get an email sent back to you, and hey presto, you can grab that course and have fun learning about compression. So yeah, so I've got that there, and maybe I will add an EQ series to it eventually at some point. Alan has been out as well. Alan over at Photography Light and Magic. He says, I've been recovering from COVID. Wow, yes, of course. I'd forgotten that you had COVID for a couple of months. Yeah. But I'm glad that you are back, my friend. Mikan is here as well. He says, hope everyone's well. But yeah, we're very glad, Alan, that you are out, that you are back in business and you are back here. Let's see. You guys are talking away. I'm looking for questions now. Let's see. Music Motion says 6-inch rock wool should do fairly well for broadband. Yep, absolutely. And Robert Ziegler is here as well. Bobby Booth is here. He says, you're moving up in the world. Don't forget us, trailer park trash. Oh, I'm never going to forget you guys. You guys have made Jonny Lipsham Studios what it is. I would not be doing what I am now doing today if it hadn't been for you guys, and for you guys watching my videos, and for you guys recommending my videos. Which I know you do a lot, because I see you doing it in Facebook, in the Facebook groups. You know, when people say, hey, where can I find videos on Studio One? I'm brand new to it. And you guys are always saying, hey, go check out Jonny Lipsham. And that's awesome. I'm so thankful that you guys do that. And you've been doing that since I started making videos in 2014, which is amazing that it's been that long. But it's even more amazing that you guys just keep on promoting my stuff. And, you know, it's your promotion of my videos that has made my channel what it is. I now have 4,300 and something subscribers, which is great. It would be really nice if I could get every single subscriber gathered together in one place one day. I have no idea how to pull that off, and I have no idea how much that would cost, but I think that would be great if I could just gather everybody onto one small, well, it would need to be quite large because there's, you know, 4,500 nearly. But yeah, get everyone together and get everybody meeting each other. That would be awesome. But anyway, I have, you know, 4,350 something, I think, subscribers now. And that's all because of you guys, because you keep recommending me to people, and people keep on joining, and there's new people joining my live stream every week, and it's great. Love it. So thank you so much for all of your support, guys. Could not do this without you. Mika's considering a YouTube channel as well. Zen and the Art of Digital Audio Maintenance. Yeah, I'm glad you're considering that, and I think that would be fantastic. But yeah, maybe I'll have a little think about that name. See, coming up with a good name for your channel is really, really hard, which is why I did something really, really simple. Johnny's got a good one, Home Studio Trainer. That's really cool. Joe has Home Studio Corner. Dave Vignola has Home Recording Made Easy, and you know, my good friend Graham Cochran has The Recording Revolution. These are great names for a channel. I cannot compete with that. I don't have the imagination to compete with that. It takes me long enough to come up with titles for my albums and names for my bands, which is why my band has always been, you know, Jonny Lipsham. That's it. Because I have no imagination. It's always been, you know, even when it was a 15-piece band, it was called the Jonny Lipsham Quartet. Just because it amused me that I had such a large band, and I never thought I ever would. And that band no longer exists now, but that's another story. But yeah, coming up with a name for a website, coming up with a name for a business, coming up with a name for anything is hard. I don't recommend it. Which is why I went for johnnylipshamstudios.co.uk, because I thought, hey, it's my name, it's easy, and it's a bit of a cop-out, but it works. It works. So, you know, mikahan.com sounds pretty good. You could do that. But I absolutely recommend you do make a channel, because that would be very, very cool. And my daughter's saying looking good. What, me or the house? Oh dear. I am entertaining. Let's see. I have Studio One tunes on an old laptop that I hope to move. What is the name of folder used to contain all song files? It is, if you're on a Windows laptop, that would be your /songs folder. So if you were to go to your computer and you go to, where'd it be? C colon. No, that's not it. Hang on, I'll find it. It kind of depends on where you stored them. Mine are all on a D drive. So if I just show you this real quick. So I have a separate dedicated drive for all of my songs, and it's this folder here. It's just called songs. Really unimaginative. But within this, there are lots of other things. In fact, there's another subfolder called songs. And you'll also find, in my case, I mean, here's all my songs files, but if I go down, you'll find there's another subfolder called songs. And another one. Is there one in this one? I hope there isn't. No, I think we've reached the end. Yeah, we have reached the end. And this is because I have moved this from computer to computer to computer 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So, yeah, that's why I have 4 songs folders. But if you want to move everything in one go, the way you do it is go to this root songs folder and copy it and paste it to an external drive, and then plug the external drive into your new computer, and then paste this guy onto your new computer, preferably onto the same dedicated drive that you currently have your songs. So, and put it in the place that Studio One will see it. So, if you go to Studio One, Options, and then you go to Locations and User Data, you will see that this is where Studio One is looking for all of my songs. D:/songs. That's where it checks. So make sure that when you copy your folder that contains all of your songs from your other computer, that you make sure that you put it inside this root folder here, so that when Studio One is looking for songs, it looks in here and it scans that whole folder and it sees all of your songs. So I have done that when I moved from my Windows 7 computer to my Windows 10 computer. That's what I had to do. And it was quick and it was easy. I mean, it took some time uploading it all, but it was dead easy to do. And once it was done, Studio One loads up songs that were made in 2015. No missing files, no issues. It just opens up the song, no problem. Okay? So that is what you need to do. Make sure you grab that whole folder. All right? So there we go. So I hope that that answers that little question. But that was a good one. Good question. Just Bob says Peter Brooks is part 1 of a 5-part series that I have on compression. Yep. And Peter Brooks is signed up to the website. Cool. Thank you very much. Deer Creek Audio says, do I know Vicky O'Neon? I don't know. The name does not ring a bell. But I know an awful lot of people, and it's entirely possible that I just don't remember the name, but I'm better with faces than I am with names. So as soon as I see a face, the name will come to me. But yeah. We rent all of Port Merion. Okay. Good to know. Let's see. Will there be cake? As long as it's chocolate cake, there will be cake. Let's see. What do we have? Zen Master Mika. Yes, he is. Okay, Kyle has the jokes tonight. That's cool. That would be one way to do it, Deer Creek. Deer Creek says, pick a random adverb and a random verb, and that is your band name. Yeah, you could certainly do it that way. Don't think Steely Dan did it that way, but and I'm not sure the Eagles did it that way. But that is definitely one way to do it. Yeah, it is tricky. Paul Lucas says he has a stupid question. It's not a stupid question because there are no stupid questions. Unless you're going to ask where donkeys come from, in which case I'm going to tell you that the biggest conspiracy theory that there is that donkeys are aliens. And that's actually a statement of fact. How do you keep multiple versions of Studio One on the same computer? I'm upgrading to 5.2 from 4.6 and want to keep 4.6. It's very easy. You just download the installer from your MyPresonus account, and it installs to its own folder. As you can see, if I go back over to my Studio One screen, as you can see down here, look, there's Studio One 4 and there's Studio One 5. They're right next door to each other. On a PC, you cannot open them both at the same time. But on a Mac, you can. And why you can do that on a Mac but not on a PC, I don't know. But that's just the way it is. But yeah, so I have Studio One 4 and Studio One 5. And I do have Studio One 2 and 3 in my accounts, and I can just download those as well. However, neither of those are A, supported by PreSonus, and B, neither of them will run properly on Windows 10, specifically any build after 1809, I think it is. Studio One 3 doesn't work on Windows 10, 1809 and above, and Studio One 2 was never designed to work on it, so it won't. But if I could, if it were possible to have them run on this computer, I would have them both installed as well. And that way I could have Studio One, 2, 3, 4, and 5 side by side on this computer. So yeah, there you go. Hope that helps. But yeah, that is not a daft question. Just Bob says, create a new folder to download it to. Call it Studio 5.2. You don't even have to do that. The installer does that all for you. You don't even have to create a new folder. Studio One, when you install it, will do that all by itself. That's what the installer is designed to do. It creates a Studio One 5 folder for you, and that's where the program goes. I can show you that as well, just so that you are certain that that's what happens. If I go to if I go to Program Files, PreSonus, I can show you that. But yeah, if you go to if you go to your computer, Windows, then Program Files, then PreSonus, you will find that there is a Studio One 4, and when you install Studio One 5, the folder is created for you. I have a bunch of folders here that I can't actually show, so I'm not going to. But yeah, that's where it installs automatically. The installer does it for you. So anyway, there we go. K-Bones Johnson says, what's the best way to support your channel? That is a great question, and I'm going to help you out with that in just one little second. Hang on. I'll copy that. Oh, where's OBS gone? There it is. All right, so I'm going to paste a link into the chat. And that is where you can go if you want to make a donation, because there is no super chat feature on my channel anymore. As I explained the week before last, I have demonetized myself. So yeah, I'm no longer a member of the YouTube partner program, and that means I have no monetization on any of my videos or any of my live streams or the channel as a whole, which means there's no super chat button. So if you want to make donations, there's my my paypal.me link. Go and spam that instead, and I'd be very grateful. Thank you very much. Let's see. Music Motion says, if you're running 5.0 or 5.1, rename the current Studio One folder, the current Studio One 5 folder, to something like 5.2 prior to install. That will ensure you retain the minor versions. Yeah, you can do that if you are wanting to retain 5.1 and 5.2 and have the two of them side by side, so that if you need to roll back, you can. Again, that is something you don't have to do, because what you can do in your My Personas account is you can click on the Studio One 5 product in your account, and there's a button there that says View Previous Versions, and when you click on that, you can download any of the installers from 5.0, 5.1, 5.2, and you know, you can click on the Studio One 4 product and do the same and get everything from 4.0, 4.1, 4.5, 4.5.6, and so on, and 4.6 and 4.6.2. All of those are there. You can just download those installers if you ever need to roll back for any particular reason. So yeah, you don't have to. You can if you want to. I'm not poo-pooing it. It's probably not a bad idea. But you don't have to do it, is what I'm saying. You know, I have a very unique file management system because of all the software that I have to deal with for work. But yeah, you don't have to do that. You know, Studio One will, via its installer, create the appropriate folders. So one thing you can do, if and when there is another update that comes out, a major update, you can just create a folder for that, and then when you download that, you just download that direct to that folder, and then you can finish up projects in Studio One 5.2, and you can start new ones in the new version if you want to do that. That's not a bad way to run things. I've done that before, and it worked pretty well. So yeah, you can certainly do that. If you find a name, register it as a website. It is cheap, but you need to keep it going every 3 years. Yep, for sure. For sure. Yep, definitely. Dear Creek is asking, why did you demonetize? Because I wanted to. It's because I wanted to. And as I say, I explained all of that in a previous show. Obviously, there was no show last week, but the week before there was, and I kind of explained all of it then, because that's when I did it. So yeah, go and check that one out. Mind meld this. You know what, Mika? I like that. That is a good name. Mental Floss is another good name for Mika's channel. Musical Mental Floss. That's quite a good one. Yeah, definitely. All right, folks. You've been watching the Studio One screen for like the last 5 minutes, because I completely forgot to go back over to this screen. Sorry about that. Not paying any attention to what I'm doing in OBS, which is very bad. So yeah, any more questions? This darn door is a good one. Or shut that door. I like that. Shut that door. Let me have a swig of my tea before it goes cold. friend of mine had a band actually called Matt Vinyl and the Undercoats, which I thought was a hilarious name for a band. Really, really good. Great name for a band and hilariously funny. So yeah, names for websites, names for brands, names for businesses, names for records is hard. Don't let the door hit you. I like that. That's good. But you know what? Probably not very easy to monetize, I would think. Advertisers might not like that. But still, it's funny. I like that. Right, any other questions? I might have missed one. Let me go up and check. Don't know if my daughter's still here, but she was about 20 minutes ago. But yeah, my daughter's cool. She's cool. Of course, it's Mother's Day weekend. So you guys will be interacting with your family, which is probably why we are a little down on numbers. In fact, we're not that bad. We're at like 30 almost. I think if we go past 31, we will have hit a new record for attendance at my Sunday Night Live. So that would be cool if we went to 30, and I don't think we have. Oh, we've gone to 30. We peaked at 30 20 minutes ago. But we have not gone past that. If we go up to 31, that will be a new record. So that would be awesome. So if you guys know of a couple of people that you can drag into this show for at least 10 minutes so that we can get the record, that would be awesome. Because as I say, we're on 30 right now. Okay. Okay, you guys are kind of talking amongst yourselves. And my daughter's still here. She's just working on some art stuff. Awesome. Yes, my daughter Lee is extremely talented as an artist. She's really, really good. She just needs to know that for herself. But she is really, really good. She's a super talented young lady. But we don't really have any more questions. Thank you, Music to Motion. I appreciate that. Thank you. That would be awesome. We have now dipped below 25. So it's going to be, we need a few more people now to get back to 31. So we need like 6 or 7 people to come in and take it up. So, Billy Morgan's here. Hey, Billy. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. I'm still trying to find questions in the chat. Cool. Thank you. Thanks for that. Okay, we have leveled out around about 28. So let's see what happens. We'll finish round about the 1 a.m. mark here in the UK, which is going to be kind of like 7 o'clock Central Time, 7 p.m. Central, and that would allow you to go back to your Mother's Day weekends and all of that. So that would be good for you guys. But yeah, it'd be nice if there were some more questions. Otherwise, all I'm going to do is talk about my house, my new house, which I'm really excited about. Mika says, room treatment is tricky. Best to know your speakers. Most of us are doing near field. Yeah, I'm doing near fields. I've got a set of PreSonus near field monitors, which I have had for about 5 years. So I know them pretty darn well. I know what good music sounds like on them. And you're right. That's the important thing. Know what a good mix sounds like on your speakers. And have that as a reference point. And then, one of the things I will be doing when I get my Studio One my studio into the new room, the first thing I'll be doing is I will be playing music that I know is extremely well mixed and extremely well produced and well recorded on these speakers in that room, so that I can learn what that room sounds like and what a good mix sounds like in that room. And then I will be using that as my reference when I am mixing, at least to start with, until I'm completely comfortable with the room and understand its idiosyncrasies, because it will have idiosyncrasies. Every room has. I mean, especially a bedroom, because bedrooms are not designed to be recording studios or mixing studios. They're just not designed for that. You know, by and largely, they are drywall facing each other parallel, which is possibly one of the worst things you can do for audio. So, yeah, I mean, in an ideal studio situation, you want walls that are not facing each other in any way. They're not parallel to each other. So, you know, that's a challenge, and that's going to be a challenge in my new room, is taming it and learning, you know, what the room's kind of mode is. Like this one is kind of an A flat. You know, if I play this note enough in this room, it really starts to reverberate. So I know that this room is in A flat. And, you know, with some much better acoustic treatment in a brand new room that I own and I'm not renting, I can really go to town on treating that and getting rid of those kind of room modes. So yeah, that's what I will be doing. And my focus will be, in those early weeks in the room, is what does a good mix sound like? What does a great record sound like in that room? And once I know that, then I can mix accordingly. And I can use that as a reference point for a great mix sounds like that. So that's my target. And then I can go to town on my mixes and make them the best mixes possible. But yeah, that's a great point. Most of my 4.0 will work. I'm not really sure what you mean by that question. If you mean will Studio One 4 work on a Windows 10 machine or on a Mac current build, on the latest Mac OS like Big Sur, Studio One 4 is not supported on Big Sur. It was never designed to work on Big Sur. It will work on Windows 10, but it will only work on Windows 10 up to, I think, 1909, I think. I'll need to check to be sure, but I think it's 1909. Anything after that, Windows Studio One 4 is not really designed to work on that particular build of Windows, so your mileage may vary. You may not get the best possible experience out of Studio One 4 on that build of Windows, but it will work to some degree on Windows 10, for sure. Some builds of Windows 10. But yeah, other than that, not entirely sure what your question means. Thanks, Blades Music. I appreciate it. Trying to help me out. Hopefully we'll go up to over 31. If we do, then that will be a new record. Let's see. Music to Motion says, also hit the thumbs up. Yes, please do like and subscribe. If you are not a subscriber yet, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and choose all notifications. That way you get notified about this show. You get notified about any community posts that I might post. Like, for example, if I have to cancel a show because of ill health, or we're actually packing down the studio and moving, I might have to cancel a show to do that. And, you know, any other content that I put up on this channel, like standalone videos, for example, which I do. I used to do them every week. I'm hoping that once we've moved into the new house, I can go back to doing them once a week. That would be awesome. COVID-19 has not helped me with video production. I really want to go back to doing one video per week and my live stream every week. That's what I want to go back to. So I'm hoping that I will be able to do that. Let's see. Mika had a great point, which I want to go back to. One of the worst things is to put large speakers in a small room to overcome the room issues. Doesn't work usually. Yes, you're absolutely right. Because a large speaker, from my experience, in a small room is just going to fill the room with a lot more low end, a lot more low frequencies. And the thing with low frequencies is the waveform is massive. It's incredibly long. Like, you know, the low E string on my bass, the actual wavelength is something like 16 feet long. And most rooms are not 16 feet long. This one certainly isn't. This one is 11, just shy of 11 feet. It's like 10'8" or something, which means that when something like a low E string comes out of my speakers, if I had big like 10 or 12-inch speakers or a massive sub, which I had cranked, that note is going to go and hit the back wall, and it's going to rebound back, and it's going to give you phase issues with the low end because you'll get like cancellation and that kind of stuff. But your room will just flood with low end, and of course you will dial back the low end on your mix, and then when you go listen to it in the car or in another room on another system, and you go, wow, my mix sounds like it's being played on a 1940s phonograph. Yes, it will, because in your room is flooded with low end. The low end sounds huge. But as soon as you take that out into some other environment, it's not going to sound like that because that's not your room. So the first thing to learn about any space that is not acoustically treated is the first thing that's going to happen is audio is going to rebound off of the surfaces and then back into your mix position. So you're going to get the direct sound from your speakers plus the reflected sound, which means you're going to get frequencies that are cancelled out by phase cancellation. They will just cease to exist, or they'll just sound weird, or your room will just flood with low end because there's nowhere for it to go. There's nowhere for those for those wavelengths to actually stop, because they're just going to crash into the back wall, you know, before they have fully developed and run out of energy. So which is why a lot of mixing rooms are like 20 feet long, you know, in what we would call commercial mixing spaces. They're 20 feet long because they know that a low E is going to be 16 feet long. So right at the back of the wall, it's going to have run out of gas, which means you're not going to get it coming back to you off of the back wall, which is why it is a good idea to treat the back. Now, in this case, behind those wardrobe doors is a whole bunch of books. There's about 250 books, plus folders and files and all sorts of other stuff from my teaching days when I was a high school music teacher. And of course, I have all of my charts and arrangements for my band. There are thousands of full arrangements stuffed in there. And all of that provides nice absorption for the low end. So I don't have to treat back there quite so much. But in the new house, not going to have that. So it will just be a wall at the back. So I will have to treat it. Because, you know, I need to deal with that. But, as Mika says, large speakers in a small room is a bad idea. If you are going to be in a room that is like 10 feet in the longest dimension, then you probably want little 5-inch speakers, something like that, which is what I have here. They work great in my other room, which was 9 feet to the door, 9 feet to the back. This is a little bit longer. And actually, these speakers sound much better in this room because they've got a little bit more room to breathe. The old studio, they didn't really have a whole lot of room to breathe. But fortunately, I had like a big draw unit at the back of that old room, and that acted as a bass trap. A lot of the low end just got absorbed there, and the room didn't really fill up with the low end quite so much. It filled up with like 400 and 450, but it didn't really fill up with, you know, a whole lot of, you know, low end particularly. So Mika is spot on. Let's see. Are you going to take time off during your move to your new home? Yes, I will. Will the internet be as good? I hope so. That is the plan. At the moment for this house, we have fiber to the cabinet, which basically means fiber optic cable runs to an external cabinet outside somewhere, kind of a block in that general direction over there. And then from that cabinet, it comes down copper cables into the house. So although the speed might be really, really high going to the cabinet, you then lose a bit because it has to then travel down the copper cables. So what we have here is 20 megs per second up and 80 megs per second down. The new house, however, is going to have fiber to the property. So it will come in fiber optic cable directly into the house, which means it should be a lot faster at its most basic level. So I'm hoping for 1,000 megs a second down and maybe 150, 200 up would be nice, because that would be the fastest I've had in years. That would be great. So doing this show will be hopefully even better quality than it is now. Maybe I might even be able to go up to 4K for the resolution. Who knows? Room acoustics are tricky. I think you have to use lots of different types of absorbers like diaphragm friction as well as diffusion. I have no diffusers in here. None. But I do have plenty of absorption. With the doors closed, there is no diffusion. Yeah, there is no diffusion. You're quite right. Yep. At the moment, there's nothing that is kind of breaking things up. But in the new house, I will do something about that. We'll have to see. If a wavelength on a low E string is 16 foot, then how does a 35-inch scale bass produce a 16-foot wavelength? I'm not exactly sure of the exact science of the wavelengths and how that's measured. I just remember being taught that when I was at university. We were told that that is how long the wavelength of that open E string is. It's 16 feet long. And I don't think it has anything to do with the scale or the length of the instrument. It's the pitch of the string, and when you pluck it, that's kind of the wavelength that is produced. That's what we were told. So I'm assuming, therefore, that it is correct information, because that's what I was taught when I was at university. Let's see. What is sidechain? That's a big question. But essentially, in one sentence, sidechaining is where you use one source of audio to trigger compression or EQ or something else on another source. For example, I could use the kick drum channel to compress the bass guitar or compress a keyboard sound on another channel altogether. Basically, you set the compressor so that it is listening to the kick drum and it is acting on the synth part or the bass part or whatever. You can set up hundreds of different sidechains. I don't do it a lot because I deal with mostly acoustic music and jazz and blues and that kind of stuff. So I don't tend to do it. But if you're an EDM or electronica or something like that, you're probably going to use a lot of sidechaining. You're going to sidechain lots of different things to lots of other sources to get particular effects. And in actual fact, sometimes it can be a good thing, even in a pop or a rock song, to use a little bit of sidechain compression to kind of give the bass and the kick drum a little bit of room to breathe between themselves, get a little bit of extra separation. Another thing you can do is you can use some sidechain compression to make the vocal come a little bit more forward ahead of your rhythm section. So you can use the sidechain compression so that whenever the vocal happens, whenever you have the vocal performing, the compressor ducks everything else underneath it, just a hair, like maybe a dB, something like that. That's one application I can think of in a rock pop kind of environment that could work quite well. One application I have used of sidechain compression is using it to duck a delay effect. So if I have a delay on a delay send from my vocal channel, I will put a compressor before the delay plugin, and then I will sidechain that to my vocal. So what that means is whenever the vocal is performing, it ducks the delay effect, and then you get more of the tail of the delay when the vocal is not performing. And it just means that the delay just gets a little bit out of the way of the vocal, but you still get the effect of it, so that they're not kind of tripping over each other. So yeah, that's kind of how that works. Mika, you can talk about any wavelength of any footage you want, as far as I'm concerned. As I say, I don't know the exact science of it, but, you know, we can look it up. And I will be happy to be educated. Very good, Lee. Thank you for that. That's very, very good information. It shows the sideways movement of a note as well as the length of the note that the note will reach. Bob Studio says it's a matter of the hertz as to respective wavelength, which is why the delay units to deal with that in a live situation. Pass. I don't know. I don't tend to work in live sound from a mixing point of view. Anyway, we are 10 minutes over. Paul Lucas says, I recently took a course on room acoustics and realized living in an apartment was futile. Oh, yes. I have been there. All right, folks. We will leave it there. But thank you very much, everybody, for coming, and especially those of you that tried to push us up to try and beat our attendance record. Maybe we can do it next week. So, challenge for you all that are still here in the show and you're still watching. Please, as soon as you see that my show is posted up, because I set a countdown timer for it to schedule it, as soon as you see it, go grab the link, post it all over social media, wherever you think people would benefit from the show. Email it out to your mates, whatever you think will help, and we'll see if next week we can get a whole bunch of new people into the show and hopefully encourage them to become subscribers in their own right. And let's see if we can smash that record. And then let's see if we can maintain, you know, over 30 attending every week. That would be fantastic. So, thanks everybody. We didn't quite break the record. No, we peaked at 30 exactly. So we were just like, you know, one short of record attendance. So it would be great if we could break that next week and then consistently break it. But thanks everybody for coming, and I will see you all next show, which is going to be Songwriting Simplified with Jonny Gibe, which should be on his channel again, but we now have it set up so he can come and we can do it here sometimes, and we can do it over on his sometimes as well. So that'll be Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central. Hopefully I'll be fit and healthy by then. I should be. I'm pretty much over it like 90% now. So there we go. Thanks very much for your questions, and I will talk to you all on Wednesday. I will be around social media. You'll see me there and during the rest of the week. Otherwise, we'll be back here for Sunday Night Live next Sunday. Good night, everybody.